Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to get good at editing at Fortnite, or how to double your editing speed. Now, I personally use these tips on my own, or these small changes, not even small changes, but actually pretty drastic changes now that I think about it, to your settings, to your gameplay, and to the way you edit. So yeah, make sure you watch until the end of this video, because I think these tips will definitely help you. Now, you guys, I love making these types of content, especially Fortnite. Fortnite's been fun to me, and it's still pretty fun to me, regardless of the season. Although I'm not really a huge fan of the new chapter, but you know what? It is what it is, and you gotta adapt. And Fortnite is still pretty fun to me. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, because I am excited to bash out a lot of videos in the Christmas break. Although I'm gonna be taking a small break from December, like when Christmas starts, then. But I'll try to have a lot of videos planned so that I have, I bash out 2 or maybe even 3 videos a day. Anyway, enjoy the video. Hope you guys double your editing speed. So before I go ahead and, actually just talk about how to improve your editing speed, you want to make sure, actually this probably helps your editing speed, but it probably isn't like one big thing. It's pretty big, but it's not as big as the others. You want to have you definitely want to have your editing bind or your edit bind on one of your face buttons or the touchpad. Now, what do I mean by this? Basically, the touchpad and the face buttons on your controller, or if you're using an Xbox controller, just the X, Y, B, and A. The science behind it is that button, or those buttons, were designed to be quick, or they're pretty quick. It's just a button, like it's relatively quick, and the left stick on the controller is not meant to be pressed. Like, look, and this feels incredibly slow. Now, I know that a lot of people use left stick edit, and I personally have used left stick edit, and am probably going to use left stick edit if I were to switch to Xbox controller claw. But left stick is, I don't know what to feel about it. It's pretty slow, and that's why I put it on a less spammy button, which is the switch mode. I personally prefer it on switch mode, but you probably wouldn't prefer this on your controller, or if you're on your editing bind, if you want to double your editing speed. Personally, with the controller, or with the PlayStation 4 controller, this actually is a lot more influential, because the buttons on the PS4 and the PS5 controller are a little bit more bottomed out, or a little bit smaller in that case. Like, it's not as thick as the Xbox controller, but I'm pretty sure the Xbox controller, it probably still works the same. So yeah, make sure you have your editing bind on a face button, whether it's triangle. Now, if you don't do claw, then sure, go ahead, left stick switch mode works, or left stick edit works just fine. But if you are on claw, then definitely consider this, or definitely do this if you are on claw, because this is really helpful, trust me. The second tip is also a settings change, and I actually mentioned this in one of my videos. Turn on confirm edit on release, and if you don't want to have confirm edit on release, or if you don't want to do confirm edit on release, then still have it on. Now, why? Because actually confirming your edits is faster on controller. Like, this is probably faster than if I were to confirm it, or if I were to just let confirm edit on release do this. Now, what do I mean by turning on confirm edit on release? Well, it'll basically act as a safety net. So let's say you're confirming your edits, right? Let's say you're confirming your edits, and then you didn't manage to confirm this edit. If you have confirm edit on release, this will just automatically confirm, and by that time you're probably going to be really, or your momentum won't shift. Your momentum won't change. You'll still do your edit course, or you'll do your good old triple edit and whatnot. So definitely have confirm edit on release on, even if you don't want to have confirm edit on release. Personally, I learned this trick from ARISU. He's a really good YouTuber. Definitely go check him out in the link in the description below. He has really good tips and tricks for controller players, and I learned this from him, and this is absolutely important. So let's say, let me show you another example. Let's say you did this edit, and then you do this edit, and you failed to confirm it, or you didn't press the confirm button fast enough. You can just have confirm edit on release, and it'll just enable, and by that time you won't lose your momentum. So yeah, definitely an influential change in your settings. So yeah, make sure to have confirm edit on release on, even though you don't want to have confirm edit on release on. So the second editing tip, it's not really a tip, it's not even a settings change anymore, but it's more or less something that you should probably start doing if you want to become a good controller player, especially if you want to have really good edits. Is to actually stop doing you know, basic when you're like, let's say, warming up or trying to free build, don't do like simple 90s, you know, and don't do like double edits. If you really want to challenge yourself and really want to double edit your editing speed, make sure you go for the biggest hitters, you know. Do the triple edits. Do the one thing you wish you couldn't, or you wish you could do but you can't because of your speed. Trust me, you'll eventually just start doing everything automatically, and by that time your editing speed is probably so quick, and you wouldn't even notice. And that's what happened to me. I just decided to do these insane triple edit retakes that I learned from It's Jarian. Actually, here, like this specific retake right here, I see I actually can't do it now because I retired from Fortnite. I'm too old for this. Basically, that retake, I just couldn't do it. Like at the time, I just couldn't do it, but I just spammed it, and eventually started doing it, and then like triple editing just became a habit for me. By that time, I'm actually an insane controller player. I'm no means an insane controller player, but you know what I mean, right? So yeah, challenge yourself when you're free building or you're trying to practice. Even in editing course, do the hardest ones if you can. Obviously not too hard, because you don't wanna it's weird. You have to find like that middle ground, because if you do something that's too easy, then you're probably not gonna improve. But if you do something too hard, then you're probably not gonna improve either, because that's way too hard for you and not within your skill level. So like, even if it's not within your skill level, just if it's way too hard for you to do, then don't do it. Like, really, just don't do it. But if you think it's doable, you've been trying it, you know, like you just start doing it, then definitely a good way to practice and double your editing speed. Another one is the settings change that I like, and that is putting your editing or your select button on one of your bumpers. Now, why is this thing? Because the bumpers, especially the Xbox controller, they bottom out faster than the triggers. Now, why is it important if it bottoms out? Well, that means you can confirm and select quicker than you would if you are using your triggers. Now, this is especially the case for Xbox controllers. Now, I don't use the R1 select and L1 confirm just because I have trigger stoppers on my PS4 controller, and yes, I'm using PS4 controller, no longer the PS5 controller. But yeah, having one of your select on your bumpers will double your editing speed just because it bottoms out faster. It's literally a button. But if you have trigger stoppers, then feel free to skip this tip, because this is really not that important for you, since trigger stoppers are pretty much just your bumpers. So yeah, I mean, that's why trigger stoppers were invented. It's so that you can press down on your triggers quicker, and it acts as a button instead of it, you know, going down super slow and going back up, and then you have to wait for that little gap or that little window for you to actually select and confirm it edit. And especially if you don't have trigger stoppers and you're using confirm edit on release, then holy, you're missing out on a lot of editing speed, buddy. So one tip that I like to say to a lot of people is to turn off or make sure disable pre-edit option is enabled. Now, why? It's because you typically don't want to pull your pickaxe out when you're editing. So let's say you don't have disabled pre-edit. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with blueprint editing, but let's say you don't have it on, and you just do this. Wait, let me try get an example for you. See there. Okay, now in that scenario, look, you're just gonna mess yourself up, and it's gonna take, you know, you have to rotate, and look, I can't do it, and I'm not in that pressure point. There we go. So yeah, just disable it so you can blueprint edit a little bit better. Now, if you do not have disable pre-edits on and you want to keep pre-edits enabled, then yeah, sure, go ahead. But in all honesty, just disable it, man, because dude, pre-edits it's a good meta. But if you really just want to focus on your editing speed and not like with arena metas and whatnot that definitely have blueprint editing on, it's pretty good. Now, if you're comfortable with your pickaxe's location, like with me, I have a pickaxe on circle, which I'm really comfortable with. It's right next to the triangle. Then I probably don't need this, but I just do it anyway because it just makes me more consistent and it makes me a little bit faster. So definitely disable pre-edits enabled, or enable the disable pre-edits option. And finally, this is probably just very true, like everybody, you've probably seen this tip now, like running around every YouTube video you can find about this topic. Just practice, dude. Like, I'm gonna link down a bunch of practice maps that you can use to practice your editing speed. Probably just two, and those two are probably the most important ones in my opinion. I personally use them to double my editing speed. And yeah, just use those maps, spend a lot of time in them. You don't have to spend too much time. Like, I'd say like like 10 minutes a day works on each map. So like 10 minutes on the first map and then 10 minutes on the other map. But if you could spend more time on it, then go for it, dude. Like really, it's just practice. Like, you can literally ask anybody who's good at what they do, and they're probably gonna say either practice or talent and hard work and practice probably beats talent. So yeah, definitely practice those 2 maps, and I'm gonna link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, turn on post notifications so you're notified of videos just like this one. I'm sorry this became more of a talking show and not much of like showing what to actually do and what to actually improve on, but that's the truth, and I think that I should probably say that to you guys instead of, you know, just putting in random tips and tricks that probably don't help. I can guarantee you that these settings will help with enough time. Now obviously you won't turn into Reed, or you won't turn into an insane controller player just like after 5 minutes of doing these tips that I'm going to give you. It's gonna take a while, and you're gonna have to accept that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.